scientist by the name of Victor McClune works in a lab on a laser that controls meteor activity. He gets a phone call from an attorney about an inheritance property. McClune and his attorney finalize the paperwork. As McClune tinkers with his laser, he tells his boss he'll be needing some time off to go check out the new inheritance. On the wall plays a television, see something, say something. McClune clutches his fists and grins. McClune checks out his inheritance property. That night, McClune wakes from a horrible dream. A dream of the night he lost his wife to a carjacking. To clear his head, he leaves the bed, goes to the basement to work on his secret laser. McClune gets his son ready for school in the morning. At work, McClune demonstrates his laser technology. That night, McClune watches the news in frustration of all the crime going on. McClune gets his son ready for school in the morning and sends him on his way. That day, McClune gets a phone call from the boss. He is called into his office. He is demoted. The project was given to a different team. McClune argues the point, but he loses and goes back to his office to pack a few things. McClune gets a phone call of a school shooting. He runs down the hall to leave the building. On the walls, a TV plays, see something, say something. He drives to the school and is confronted by a police officer who tells him what hospital he can find his child in. At the hospital, McClune finds his son's name on the roster. He's told to take a seat in the waiting room. Hours later, he is awoken by a doctor. Meanwhile, a TV on the wall plays, see something, say something. McClune is taken in to see his son. He weeps and snaps. McClune calls his employer to tell them that he is taking a leave of absence. In the basement, McClune perfects his laser. He laughs like a crazed scientist, like the "it's alive" moment in Frankenstein. A lumber delivery arrives at McClune's property. He gets right to work on his crazy silo to torture his victims. After many weeks in the hospital, McClune's son returns home. He takes him around and shows him the new house with the new silo. McClune meets with a real estate agent. He buys an old, run-down, abandoned store where he can lure his victims to, so he can beat them crazy before taking them back to the silo. McClune walks the streets in the hood, lasering all his law-breaking victims. Back at home, he sits on his sofa, controlling his lasered victims through his app on his iPhone. A bunch of thugs sit around a table, cutting up cocaine. McClune takes control of the thug, putting him in sleepwalk mode. He leaves the apartment, gets down on the street, walks to the abandoned building. McClune awaits. McClune continues this ritual until his silo is filled with thugs. McClune takes his victims out of sleep mode. They awake and they scream in pain from the broken bones and scars he inflicted on them. As the days go by, there's silence in the silo. The victims, all dead. McClune hits a button on the silo, opening the floor, revealing a pond filled with ravenous fish. He hits another button, drops his dead victims in the water. There's a knock at the door. It's McClune's boss. He wants him to come back to work. They tell him he needs to leave the country for several years. He declines their offer, and they do not agree. This doesn't end well for the boss and his team. McClune lasers the team and hangs them in the silo. Later that day, McClune finds a man fishing in one of his ponds. He goes over to talk to him. McClune learns that the man used to fish at this pond with his daughter all the time. He also learns that his daughter was not with the man on this day because she was brutally attacked by an illegal immigrant. He lets the man take home his catch. McClune ends up running into a woman with bruises on her face. He runs into her several times and notices that the bruises and the cuts get worse and worse. He also realizes she could use his help. Her cheating husband stands behind them watching. McClune carries about his day. He goes to a trailer store and buys a trailer. He wants to travel the country collecting thugs and criminals. That night, the fisherman cuts open his catch and discovers human fingers inside. The next day, while McClune's working on his new trailer, the fisherman comes to him to tell him of the discovery. The fisherman brought the fingers to show McClune what he had found. The fisherman wanted to go to the police. That's when McClune assured the man it's best if they take care of business themselves. McClune mentioned the fisherman's daughter, and immediately his blood boiled. The fisherman becomes McClune's first partner in thug catching. Days later, McClune runs into the same woman with the bruises on her face. He doesn't like what he sees. He talks her into leaving. They go to a coffee shop. She tells him all about it.